Hi guys, thanks for tuning in to another episode of Nuggets News. In this week's technical analysis, we'll check out the big three and those swing trades I've got on Amisa Go and IOTA. Now, it's been 2 weeks since we last spoke. I had no technical analysis last week. I was on my honeymoon, but it's hard to believe Bitcoin was 6,700 last time we spoke, and we were talking about some of the negative scenarios in this really critical juncture at 6,450. Now, if that broke, we're expecting maybe a waterfall and capitulation, one last low, but one of the things we mentioned was the OTC market and those big institutional investors behind the scenes. A lot of them are hoping to buy between 6,000 and 5,000. And one thing you've heard me say a lot is when everyone's hoping for something, I hope it gets down here so I can buy heaps of my favorite altcoin. When everyone's hoping and wanting price to get cheaper, that can often be when people don't get what they want and the price turns around. So we've had a fantastic breakout, high volume candle. I've been live on YouTube a couple of times this week because we've just had such tremendous breakouts. So that long-term downtrend line here, I've changed over to Bitfinex to get better volume indicators here rather than the Coinbase chart. I've got all my indicators back on here. And the one that a lot of people were eyeing off was the long-term, the log downtrend line here, guys. So that got broken. You can see it a bit better here on that 4-hour chart where it sort of got there, it paused, and once it broke through on good volume, the consolidation just continues. Now we are heading to resistance, and that's what I want to talk about next. So let's just zoom back out to that daily chart and talk about why I think we're heading to resistance. So there's a number of indicators on this chart, and that's because I want to get a feel for that global consciousness. What's everyone else thinking? What are they looking at? Now, I don't put too much weight in any particular set of indicators. I like to use fundamentals as my mainstay, but we're hitting the 200-day moving average. We're hitting the top of these Bollinger Bands. On the 4-hour RSI, a lot of traders and swing traders watch this. We've now got divergence with the 4-hour RSI sort of weakening, even though price is still trending higher. So there's lots of things that start to tell me chances favor we're going to take a break here, and it's not bad. Doesn't mean we're entering a bull market, but it's healthy consolidation that we need. We want this stair step higher, then we want a little pullback and builds those foundations for support for that next leg higher. And this level here, right around 10,000, it's acted as support and resistance a number of times. If I can just grab that indicator here. So don't be afraid if we do run into a bit of resistance over this next week. It's nothing to worry about. We need it. It's healthy. What we want is to see it happen on really low volume. Alternately, if we have a really bullish scenario, some really good fundamental news comes out and we break through it, that's even better, guys. It just bodes well for this pulling back and acting as support. And at some stage, I think we're going to have that really euphoric, really strong wave 3 that I talk about in Elliott Wave, where everyone realizes that, hey, the bottom's in, we're a long way from all-time highs, and it's just a stampede. So I've got an interview this week. I want to talk about all those large OTC orders that are going on in the background as well. And that doesn't show up as volume on the charts here. And that's what I want to talk about because, we've heard time and time again, there's so much money being passed around behind the scenes getting into these different coins. So I'll just go back to the daily chart there and we'll head over to Ethereum. So again, last time we spoke, Ethereum was under $400. It seems crazy now. I'll take that off log, sorry. So crazy to think Ethereum was under $400 less than 2 weeks ago when we last spoke. We got this cycle bracket bottoming. We got this push higher. Both downtrend lines have just been blown through. I spoke about this as just being so strong, this 340, 300, where we spent so much time. And, it'd be very lucky to get back there. And again, we're now running into some resistance. So this acted as support a number of times, around $670 there. I'll just zoom into the 4-hour and you'll see this rate at which we're accelerating, and we can't keep up this rate. So we do need to cool down at some stage, guys. Let these RSIs cool off. Again, a bit of divergence there. So this is all healthy. Tremendous run, nearly 100% from the lows. you know, Ethereum is my biggest holding. I don't need to tell you guys all the great things that's happening behind the scenes on ETH and the platform. So Litecoin, again, this 4 hour, nice and steep. We're approaching an area that's acted as support and resistance a number of times where we may need to take a breather. Now, Bitcoin Cash, we don't always talk about this one with our charting, but this has had a tremendous move. So it got down below $600 at one stage, and when the market, you know, turned around, it's up nearly 100% here. Now, this is the steepest of all these curves. It's going to be very interesting to see if this forms a nice consolidation here and just lets the 4 hour RSI cool off. That's extremely bullish for another leg higher in Bitcoin Cash. Now, we know that it had these extremes. I was live on YouTube back here, I think, for that first move when it really pumped all the way to 3,000 and we shorted it on the way back down and made some money. But it's still a long way from as high as at over $4,000. So remains to be seen from a technical point of view how this one plays out, but this is certainly a very extended move where I'm expecting we need to cool off short term like all these coins. So now I just want to talk about Amisa Go and IOTA. Now, I've got up my fib retracements here. It's hard to believe this one was $9 less than 2 weeks ago, and this is why I kept those swing trades open, as I said, because when good coins go, a lot of people say, oh, you know, the trend is your friend and wait for the trend to turn around, but, you know, I like to gamble a little bit more than that, and I call it gambling, but I'm happy to own these coins long term because I believe in their fundamentals. So yeah, you might hear traders say, oh, that's gambling, you're trying to pick the bottom, but for me, it's almost value investing when I think Amisa Go is seriously undervalued once it gets down to these prices. I'm happy that my trades are in the red because I think once they turn around, they're going to go quickly. And these, you know, this is nearly up, you know, 70, 80% from the lows. And the same with IOTA. IOTA was under $1 here less than 2 weeks ago when we spoke. And here we are already. It's now had 105%, 110% run from those lows. And both those trades are now in the green. So next stop, maybe a bit of resistance at 250 for IOTA. But that's why you have conviction and you do your fundamentals, guys, to go hand in hand with your trading if you're going to do a bit of swing trading as well. So bit of resistance ahead this week for just about everything. It's been a tremendous run off the lows. You know, we need this healthy pullback. We need consolidation, guys. I know everyone wishes that it only ever went up in a straight line. That's not how trading works. Get your house in order. Practice those emotions when we do get these pullbacks and how you're thinking, and take note of all that stuff, and it'll all make you a better trader and a better investor for the long term. So please hit that like button, subscribe if you haven't already, share these videos around, and as always, thanks for tuning in, guys. Cheers.